Elvira, how did you find carnivore?
Well, I went a long way from raw vegan to the carnivore diet. And actually, I knew about the carnivore diet already about 10 years ago. Well, people were not calling it a carnivore diet, but I knew that there are people who are healing very bad or severe ailments with the carnivore diet, like cancer and Lyme disease. But I thought that it's only for those people who have some really bad health issues that they can eat a carnivore diet and heal themselves with that. And actually, I have been in the keto and low carb space already from 2001. But already at that point, I was vegetarian. So I started vegetarian diet 1990 when I was 16 years old, and I was following that 20 years. And I got such bad health issues that I had to take the control of my own health because doctors couldn't diagnose anything that was wrong with me, even though I was feeling really terrible. So I had migraines. I had really bad mental health issues. I was taking SSRIs for 12 years straight. And since I was a kid, I took diazepam because I had so bad panic attacks and so many health issues. And my stomach was terrible. So I had such bad stomach ache that I was just lying on the toilet floor, gasping for air because it was such painful. So obviously IBS. I got my colon removed in 1999. Then I learned about the keto diet and how harmful the sugar and grains are. And I was still vegetarian at that point. And but I started transferring to the keto space and low carb space. So I omitted the grains and sugar from my diet, and I immediately started feeling better. So actually, I did these changes very gradually. And then finally, 2010, when I was pregnant, I started eating fish and meat again. So part of my vegetarian journey, I was raw vegan, and part of it lacto over vegetarian. But when I started including meat and fish to my diet, I was really feeling nourished. And then I was following keto diet for about 15 years. And I learned about the carnivore diet on the way. So I think YouTube was suggesting me Bart K videos, and I was starting to watching those. So really binge watching Bart K videos, and I learned that this is really the most optimal way for humans to eat. And then I switched to full carnivore in the end of January 2023. And I'm still full carnivore, not introducing or reintroducing any carbs or so. That seems to be the current trend. But I'm doing better than ever. And well, never say never, because 30 years ago I still swore that I'm not going to eat meat ever again. And here I am eating nothing but meat. So never say never, but I'm very sure that I won't start eating carbs at least in very remarkable amounts.
Wow, what a journey!
Yeah.
And like, how has carnivore affected you in terms of, have you've had your colon removed? So has carnivore helped with that at all?
Yes, absolutely. Because when I was doing keto, I still had fiber in my diet. And fiber is basically my number one enemy when it comes to my stomach function. So now when I don't have fiber, I don't have any stomach issues. So with keto, I healed the worst stomach issues that I had. But with carnivore, I basically perfected my stomach health and other health as well. So I got huge improvement with the keto diet for all my ailments. But now with the carnivore diet, so everything has gone. All the issues are gone.
That's fantastic. Uh,
And I think I'm just getting stricter and stricter with the carnivore diet. So I used to have eggs and dairy, so dairy in the form of yogurt and heavy cream. But nowadays I'm just, well, I have heavy cream, a splash of heavy cream in my coffee. So I do drink coffee. I was half a year without coffee just to test how my body and mind react to that. I didn't find any benefit. So now I have a little bit of coffee every morning just because I like the boost that it gives. So I basically drink my plants, but I don't eat any plants. So I do have a splash of heavy cream in my coffee, but I don't eat yogurt nowadays, mainly once in a month, eggs once in a month, but basically I just eat beef most of the time. So I make tallow, which I sell in my clean keto and carnivore online store. And that beef fat usually contains quite some meat. So after making the tallow, there is meat left, fatty meat, and I eat that. So it's great food. So it really makes me thriving and really keeps satiating. So nowadays I basically eat once a day. So it's about lunchtime, and it's so freeing to feel satiated until the next day. So yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic to be able to wake up in the morning and not feel like you immediately need to eat things. You can just wake up and you can go about a normal day.
Yes,
And
exactly.
then
Yes.
gradually the hunger builds up until kind of lunchtime, and then you can eat, and then you're done.
Yes, yes, for the rest of the day you're done. So even my work is really physical nowadays. I carry heavy stuff, I pack products, I make jerky, I make tallow. It's pretty physical work. So still I'm happy with one meal a day, even though I work all the time. And because of the carnivore diet, I'm pretty sure that I'm able to work these 16-hour days, work days.
Wow. So I remember when we spoke a year ago, one of the things we spoke about was there is an authority in Finland that didn't like you using the word keto in your business. Is that right?
Yes, so actually in 2022, the Finnish Food Authority, they wanted to ban the whole word keto from everywhere. So from products, from websites, from everywhere. But I was fighting against it. There were a few other people who were fighting against it. But now this new issue was with the local authority here in Tampere region, Western Finland, where I live. So in my online store, so on the website, I was telling my story how I healed myself with the keto diet. So I was listing the issues that I could help from the keto diet. And then they didn't like it. So my personal story, they didn't like it at all. They asked me to remove the text. Otherwise, they threatened me with 15,000 euro fine, which is actually a bit more than 15,000 US dollars. And I was really fighting to the bitter end. So I think it was 1.5 years I was fighting with them about that. And they really requested me to remove the text. So I had to remove it in the end. But I think they learned their lesson because my previous company and that local authorities in Eastern Finland, on their website, I was allowed to write much more freer. So there, I didn't tell my story. I listed the ailments where people have found help from the keto diet. So, like type 2 diabetes or dementia or heart disease, high blood pressure, even some types of cancer. So that text could stand there freely. And I also stated some studies, like there was a Finnish study in 2020 that found that keto diet helps with a fatty liver disease in just 6 days. So those, I was referring to those, I was quoting those texts that can stay still in that on that website of my previous company that I wrote in 2022. And they still didn't withdraw their request for me to remove the text, but I think they learned the lesson that how the rules are not the same for all companies in Finland. So the Eastern Finland authority has totally different rules and allows much freer text than this Western Finland Tampere region
That
authority.
that's crazy that it's so different.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. 'Cause you would think that would be like a national thing, right?
Yes,
You
yes. You expect that this the rules are the same because, of course, the authorities they should have this same rules for everybody, all the companies. And the problem is that I sell food, so I have or we companies who sell food, we have much stricter rules. So if I didn't sell food, I would be able to write my story there and much freer from about the ketogenic diet or carnivore diet. So I'm not allowed to mention basically anything positive about those because that's misleading marketing of food. So even telling my own story is misleading marketing of food items according to the local authority here.
I see. So does that mean that they would probably have an issue also in the same regard if it was any other food company writing about that kind of thing? So
I
they're not
believe,
singling you out because it's keto. They just don't
I
like
believe
the
so, but yes. On the other hand, I wouldn't wonder if I was writing about the vegan diet, for example. I really think that they wouldn't have paid such a huge attention to that because keto is still a red flag to many authorities in Finland. Doctors, all the healthcare systems, food safety authorities.
I
It's
see.
such a red flag. Keto and
Yeah.
especially the carnivore diet, so which is
Mm.
considered even more absurd, even though it's the most optimum diet for the human beings.
Right. Yeah. And so speaking of doctors, have you been to see your doctor since you've been on carnivore?
Well, I do have kind of a kidney. It was kidney malfunction, or my kidneys didn't work properly because I do have kind of a condition called medullary sponge kidneys. So it's kind of birth defect, but I basically don't suffer from that. So I visited doctors in once a year actually, and was tested, and there was really nothing wrong except I have been passing some really huge kidney stones. Like, well, a good lesson again: never start carnivore diet overnight, even though you're doing a keto. So please don't start carnivore overnight, because I did. After 15 years keto, I went overnight carnivore, and a few weeks after that, I was passing 6 millimeter kidney stone, which of course, well, it caused sepsis, so it was tearing the ducts. And but I was recovering in 3 days. So in my previous interview, I was telling about that. So it was simply oxalate dumping. So if you have any past with huge oxalate intake, like I did, I was a vegetarian. I had huge amount of all kinds of green veggies, almonds, chocolate. So, and then in addition, this medullary sponge kidney condition that causes kidney stones to build in my kidneys. So at the current moment, at least I used to have 20 kidney stones in each kidney. I don't know the current situation because I haven't had oxalates for a couple of years. So I don't know if they are getting smaller, but at least I haven't been passing any kidney stones now for or after that February 2023.
Right. So nothing's bothered you since then.
No, no, no.
Right.
I think I had a little bit of a flu last winter, but that also went away. But well, considering that I, when I was a kid, I used to have infections all the time, and I took antibiotics several times a year. And I don't remember when I would have taken antibiotics last time.
Right. Yeah. Um Wow, yeah, that is that many kidney stones and that size. That is a good warning to anyone who's been on a vegan or vegetarian diet and eating lots of
Yes, yeah,
spinach and things like that, right? It's very
yeah,
dangerous to go straight into carnivore.
yes. And even though people who have done keto for several years, I still don't recommend to switch to the carnivore diet overnight. So it's good to transition in few weeks at least, couple
Yeah.
of months even. And well, if you have oxalate problems, it's good to have oxalates, a little bit of oxalates every now and then, just in the form of tea, green tea, black tea, white tea, or then just a little bit of chocolate, depending on the fiber and how you tolerate fiber.
Right. Do you still do that occasionally?
Yes, yes. I take a little bit of like dark chocolate eventually, or drink tea, but that's only very, very seldom because, like I told, my stomach doesn't like fiber, not at all.
Yeah. So I think you mentioned last time your son was eating somewhat carnivore. Is that correct? Is that my
My
memory
son is, my
recalling
son is
correctly?
now, yeah. So my son is now 14 years old,
Mm.
and well, he has been kind of keto and low carb his whole life, and but he's eating lots of meat, but not fully carnivore. So, for example, for his school lunch, I make kind of rolls that I fill with butter, cold cuts, cheese. But in those rolls, I use plenty of kind of cheese and sour cream and eggs and a little bit of my potato fiber, which is not too bad of an ingredient. It's just mainly fiber, and it's not too high in fiber either, like psyllium or other stuff that are really high in fiber. But other than that, at home, I make him lots of meat. In the mornings, he has yogurt.
And he's doing really well.
Yes, he's doing really, really well. So I always compare how sick I was when I was a kid in every single way, so both mentally and physically, and he has no issues. So his skin is glowing. He doesn't have any teenager issues on his skin, and he is never ill, and he's really physically powerful, strong, and mentally really stable.
That's a really interesting point as well, just when you mentioned the skin,
Yeah.
because his age now is typically where kids have lots of acne and all of that kind of thing. So he's not suffering from anything like that.
No, no, no. He doesn't
Oh,
have any single pimple in his face on his face.
that's fantastic. I wish I'd known about carnivore when I was that age in high school, I tell you.
Yeah, yeah. Me too. Me too. But still, for the skin, I also noticed for myself that carnivore really helps with the skin. So even though I was doing keto, I had quite okay skin. But for example, in the winter time, so winters are really harsh here in Finland, especially my legs, the skin on my legs that used to dry, so I always had to use some cream or oil there. But after going carnivore, I don't have dry skin anymore, and I don't use any cream on my skin, and basically just my facial, not really treatments, but how I treat my face is just putting one cream there once in the morning and in the evening. And on Saturday, I turned 52, and people still say that I don't look like 52, but I think it's still the carnivore diet that makes the skin glow. So if you look at vegans, their skin is quite often a bit grayish, doesn't look lively, but with a carnivore diet, you get that kind of a healthy glow to your skin.
Yeah. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. It was actually so funny because I do have my this clean keto, and carnivore online store. And on Saturday, when it was my birthday, I was launching a new product. It's a baking mix with which you can bake dozens of different keto baked goods, so from savory to sweet. And actually, I was a couple of months ago in Greece, and I wrote a 116-page recipe book for that baking mix. But anyway, I launched it now on Saturday on my birthday, and in the launch, I had a table full of all kinds of delicacies, baked keto cakes and rolls and bread and pastries. But I didn't eat any of those. I wasn't even fancying them. So I do like baking, yes, but I don't eat the stuff. So on my birthday, I didn't basically eat anything else except my jerky product and then that fatty meat that was left over from tallow making.
Wow, that's fantastic. That for me, that's one of the best things about carnivore is like I can be around all those kind of foods, whether they're
Yeah,
keto friendly or they're just regular ones. I can be
yeah,
around all those kind of foods and not feel any kind of attachment to them, like, oh, I've got to eat this, you know?
yes, me too, because I was such a sugar addict. I could eat endlessly sugar, pastries, chocolate, candies, everything. I was constantly thinking of food and
And
instead
now
of
it's
yeah,
like
sweet. Yes, I
once a
couldn't care
day.
less. Yes, once a day, meat. I couldn't care less. Well, in the morning, I do have my coffee with cream, but then at noon, I have my meat, and the rest of the day is just, well, water.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Um, so how can people find your online store and find you online?
So it's a Finnish store. I can deliver abroad, but all the text and everything is in Finnish language. And of course, if it's somewhere else than EU, there are huge taxes. And currently, I am so swamped at work that I cannot even think of translating it. So it's only currently for Finnish people. But I have a kind of English online presence as well. I have had my low carb, so simple blog since 2012, and I mainly publish carnivore recipes there nowadays. There are a little bit of ketovore or keto recipes every now and then, but mainly carnivore recipes. So every Sunday I post a recipe there, and also to the social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest. I post a recipe every day. So actually, I've noticed that people really love recipes. I was trying to write some kind of information posts about, for example, the calorie myth, breaking it, but people didn't pay any attention. So that's why I publish only recipes. But here in Finland, I try to spread the kind of a truthful information about the diet and break all these myths like the calorie myth and the fiber myth.
Yeah. And the thing about the fiber myth, you know, it's every time you have any problem with digestion, you go to the
Mm,
doctor and the doctor says you need more fiber. And it's like, so I've got a fire going on and you're giving me more gasoline to put on that fire. That's
yeah,
all you're recommending.
yeah. More cars to the traffic jam.
Yeah. Um, so I'll link to your uh, low carb so simple and your socials in the show notes.
Yeah, thank
Um,
you.
Elvira, thank you so much for coming back on and letting us know how things are going. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you so much.